These two experts are the professionals who actually, since 2021, silently behind the scenes, were designing the defensive walls, first against the lava flows in the Fagradalsfjall volcano in 2021. They studied the base maps, and by the slope of the land and along it, they were able to actually contain that whole area of the volcanic eruption in the Fagradalsfjall. They did it again for the Svartsengi power plant and Blue Lagoon in 2023, and for the Grindavík again in the last weeks of the 2023. That wall actually worked and saved the town. Although the volcanic fissure actually broke through it, but we didn't end up with scenes like this, that the houses were completely buried. Iceland is grateful to them, and I think the expertise of them is amazing what they did. They were like two masters of the chess, playing against the nature. Every move the lava makes, and they have to predict it, they have to do something to counter that and report it immediately back with the maps, instructions to the contractors who have to build the design to stop the nature in that sense. When I look back at some of the videos I have about the defensive walls, I don't find anything but admiration for these two people.
New defensive wall and city of Grindavík in danger. What is happening now in Iceland with regarding this volcano is that the volcano is not going to stop. It's actually increased this eruption rates. And what is going to happen is that now, because the volcano is at a higher ground and it has created a pool of lava in the topper ground, and some of it is flowing toward the Nataji Valley, but most of it is actually stayed there. So this is going to make a new route from the west side of the volcano toward the road or toward the city of the Grindavík. That's the new situation. That's the reason we have built a new wall in that direction to protect those cities. The city of Grindavík, which has around 5,000 people, residents living in there. This potentially means that we have in Iceland a situation like what the people in Pompeii and Herculaneum had. We have to be ahead of the events, and so we're trying to build a new defensive wall to protect this town and the road if it is possible.
It seems the eruption in the Blue Lagoon area of the Verkís Peninsula of Iceland is imminent. We had evidence for movement and lateral movement of the magma within the earth crust 5 kilometers down. And as you can see here, this is the interferometer image, which shows the tilt of the ground due to the bulging of the magma under the the layers of the earth. As the magma rises, it will reach a surface and cause exsolution. Exsolution means the volatile gases will be separated from the solid phase, and that creates pressure, which rises the magma to the surface. This area is very much cracked, and through every crack, the magma will diffuse and then erupt, boiling upward and reaching the surface. They will erupt like a fissure eruption, like the ones that we had in the Iceland in the 18th century, 13th century, violent ones, not like the Fagradalsfjall Little, which was a quite tourist-friendly one. Icelandic authorities now are considering to build a defensive wall 4 to 8 meters high and 4 kilometers long. And to protect this infrastructure, Blue Lagoon is a tourist attraction, a lot of investment, a lot of good name for it, and it needs to be protected. And also the power station, geothermal power station in that area. So if it is going to erupt, we need to go for protection of what we have. A defensive wall is now being built for the Blue Lagoon and is going according to the plan. And there is a chance, because now the Hagafell will be the epicenter of the eruption, and we have a borehole in that direction from the geothermal power station hitting the gaseous part, the sulfur dioxide part of the magma. There is a quite likely chance that the magma will flow from either to the north or south. We can protect the Grindavík if we act now by building a defensive wall. The tremors are continuing, and we have several hundreds every day. The Graben is that passing the western part of the Grindavík. Magma seal is under the town, and Haggerfield also is the place that is more likely. So this is the time to build a defensive wall for Grindavík to protect the asset, the port, the houses, the investment, all that infrastructure. And the emotional part of it is the house of people, the address that they call their home for life, delivery, having a boat. People were born there. This can be done now. The equipment is there, and it is now in the planning stage, and it will start immediately, probably after this video. This is looking like a science fiction. This is looking like as if a machinery on the moon or other planets are working. But this is Earth, planet Earth. Our machinery working day and night to actually protect the environment, protecting the town, protecting humanity. When the Fagradalsfjall volcano in 2021 erupted, it was unprecedented. We didn't know how to stop it. We managed eventually to actually contain this volcano by building walls. One person with one digger was able actually to stop it. Despite the activity, we have been working day and night, and the walls stopped it in the Natai Valley, in the Grindavík Valley, and elsewhere. In the recent activity in the Svartsengi, Blue Lagoon, and Grindavík area, we had a similar situation probably happening. We had a dry eruption in the Grindavík when nothing happened, but we had cracks, and magma didn't erupt in the form of lava. But eventually we started to build the wall, defensive walls around the Blue Lagoon, around the Svartsengi, and connecting it to the hills of Thorbjorn to protect that investment that we have. Is a world famous tourist attraction. And day and night we were working to protect it. And now we can confirm that the building of this, construction of this defensive wall is finished almost. 8 meters tall it is now. It was originally designed to be 3 meters, but using the local soil was actually a good decision. We are also expecting that the eruption be outside of this region. But if it is inside, within that region, the defensive wall will just contain that within the 8 meters height. Well, in that case, all the facilities will be fossilized, be trapped inside the lava, unfortunately. Icelandic governments have approved the plans to build a protective wall around the town of the Grindavík, the town that was damaged by the earthquake and the subsequent volcano, put it in risk. And we know that this land around the area is actually rising. Our GPS data shows the rising of the land subsequently. And we have the earthquakes all the time happening in that area. And today, the latest tremors chart shows that, again, another phase of the uplift of the magma. This blue line is a tectonic, and the purple line is a magma line. That is worrying for me when I look at it. You don't see similar trends in other places. You see that earthquakes are happening, widening up the gap, and eventually opening up the way for the magma to reach the surface. Grindavík maybe is on the way. We have to build the wall around it. The wall will have two phases. Mainly the main one will be to the north of it, which will be built in the remaining part of the 2023 and then 2024. And then in the spring, when the daylight is available, we finish the last part, which is toward the road to the town. And remember that this is the time that we have to work in the dark in the Iceland. Due to the subarctic winters, nights, and the town is actually suffering from more cracks, and the people are practically not going back there in the numbers that we expected for the new year. A few families will be there, but the major work has to start before that people can return to their home. I was monitoring last night the tremors chart for the Grindavík in the Verkís Peninsula. There was a big dip, and then early morning, just before 8 o'clock, we had a rise, sharp rise, and then the land also inflated, went up, and then fell down, and this was the result of it. A big bang, eruption happened in front of our eyes. That was just north of the Grindavík. It rapidly spread through the south. It was at the watershed points of the Hagofjall toward the south, with mostly flowing. Machinery were evacuated immediately, and one of the fissures actually sliced through the defensive wall to the east side. This is the moment that it did. I'm going to show you that. This is the start of the eruption. And just like a knife cutting through the water, the fissure opened up over the wall, passed, and on the other side, we had the earth splitting and the magma in the form of lava oozing out. That was the most horrifying thing so far in this eruption. And then we had worse. As the day went through and the fissure cut through the dike, on the other side, lava was flowing on the other side toward the south. Our colleagues, trying to save the number 43 road, started to extend the wall there because the lava was flowing from the north side of the wall toward there. We had at the same time a fissure opened up just inside the town, at the boundary of the town, and then houses started to burn after a while. But the defensive wall is leading the lava toward the east-west direction. Practically, it is holding up, is holding. Other than those two fissures which are inside the wall, and they are small relatively, we can actually say that the wall is holding and keeping it back. The lava flow is now solidifying at the edge, so it's adding practically to the height. In a few spots it has been breached, but then solidified, and again the direction is continuing to be east-west. In that sense, the wall is working. The Grindavík defense is working.